It's Uniflora here, and in this video I really want to walk you through what I'm doing with my Brazilian cherry to get it air layered. So look, in this channel basically what I'm trying to do is develop a whole bunch of videos that basically show you the process that I'm going through in developing my trees, some of the steps that I'm taking, some of the experiments that I'm making, and basically giving you an inside view into how that goes and how these trees develop as I grow them. So I do have a broad range of trees already that I have got. Some of those I've bought young seedlings, some of them I've propagated from seeds, and some of them I've propagated from cuttings. So there's a range of different trees that I do have, but today I want to walk you through the Brazilian cherry. The reason why I bought a Brazilian cherry as a bonsai is because I wanted a tree that has a nice trunk. I really want to grow it in a sort of formal upright kind of position, but the problem that I've got with this tree is that it's really grown in this just a stick shape. So when I got the tree, it was actually about, you can't see my hand off the top of the video there, but it was actually about twice as tall, if not more, maybe even 3 times as tall as what you see in front of you now. So when I got the plant, I cut it there to get rid of all the extra bush because I wanted, ideally about this high as a full-grown bonsai. So what I had to do was, because these were the lowest leaves, I had to lop off above that to keep some leaves, and then to hope that more leaves would then pop out lower down. So what I did was I actually got a knife and I cut a couple of little places on the branches to hope that it would start budding out, and you can see that there's 2 buds which have started popping or budding from lower down in the branch here. So what I'm going to do is air layer above those 2 buds, so that over the next few months as we're coming into spring, hopefully what will happen is I air layer, I can then remove the top part of the tree as a separate tree, whereas otherwise I'd just be cutting it to just above these shoots to really grow my tree from that point and get a nice taper down the bottom. Now I do have this tree growing in just a growing pot at the moment. The idea of that is to really get hopefully a whole lot of vigor in the next couple of years of growing. And at the end of that, hopefully I'll be able to put it back into a bonsai pot and it might look a lot better. But for now, we're just growing pre-bonsai, so we'll see how we go. Most things that would be able to be propagated from a cutting can be propagated from air layering, and it does take a bit of time. It can take a few months for the air layering to actually work, but basically the benefit of that is you've got a much higher likelihood of your tree surviving. So to get this air layered, it's pretty simple really. You don't need many tools or anything special for this. There are a number of different things I've seen advertised on the internet where you can just kind of clip it on, but all I'm using today, especially because this is such a small tree, is just a bit of a toilet roll tube, and I put some tape on it just to kind of hold it together so I can pack some soil in and slide it over, and it's cut on one side so I can just slide it in once I've got that soil there, and we're good to go. So for the soil, you really want to put in a little bit of moist soil to start off with, just so that you know there's enough moisture for the roots to really start growing. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to consider where you're actually going to want to air layer. So here, if I want to use these as my primary branches at some point, then I'm going to want to cut it about here anyway at some stage or another, but it really depends on how high I want this top piece to actually be. So that wouldn't be too bad if I reduced it to here, but what I might do is just cut it to about halfway, so that if something does pop out below the air layering, then we're quite good. So the normal kind of concept with air layering is that you ring bark the tree at a period at about the diameter of the actual part of the trunk that you're air layering. And the best time to be air layering your trees is meant to be just before spring. So you can get it when the first buds, when it's first starting to grow and it's bringing sap up. Now I don't actually have any rooting hormone, so if I had rooting hormone then I'd be using that. And just pack it in there. Place it over area where those roots are now going to be able to start coming out of. And like I said, you don't really need many tools here. Just going to make sure that that soil, we want to make sure it's nice and damp. This is definitely not a neat air layering, and it's kind of just an experiment to see, you know, a bit of a first attempt at air layering without anything special at all. I've seen a lot of people use, especially for much larger branches, cans of margarine, empty cans of margarine or something as the structure to hold it all in. But so long as you've got the soil in there for the roots to go into, and you've cut the bark so that the sap that's coming up to these leaves up the top is kind of flowing because the trees started to grow for the year, and hopefully bringing up some of that sap will keep this alive, and we'll start to see roots popping out where it's been ring barked into this soil. So in about 3 months time or so I should be able to take this off, and there should be a whole bunch of roots circulating here. So what I'll do is I'll leave this video at that. I'll give you an update, let you know how this is going in a few months time. Thanks.